Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the most overpowered legends in all of Brawlhalla. These are the type of characters that transcend the meta, and no matter how many times they're nerfed, they always somehow come out on top. They are usually pretty easy to pick up and fairly simple to master. So if you're struggling playing honest characters, you might want to try somebody on this list. Or if you're an upstanding citizen and role model to society, these are the legends you'll want to avoid at all costs. And a quick disclaimer before we begin, feel free to rearrange the order or even disagree with my choices, as there's no actual right or wrong answer for this video. This is all opinions and not facts. So starting off with our number 10 spot, we have Mirage. I don't care what anyone says, Mirage is extremely useful and has all the tools you need to climb the ranked ladder. Scythe is always going to be good simply because of active input, making it have more options than most weapons. And although it's not the easiest weapon to pick up, the reward for learning the weapon properly makes up for it. Spear is, however, very easy to learn and helps pick up any slack in the damage department, and complements Scythe really well. All of her signatures have their uses too, but I don't think Spear Sig is that good. The other 5 are pretty decent though, so I don't have anything bad to say about them really. Mirage is definitely a ridiculously slept-on pick, and with a bit of effort to learn the fundamentals of Scythe, can carry anyone to a new rank. At number 9 we have Red Raptor, who I'm sure you have all seen in tournament by now. Red Raptor has 2 weapons that seemingly always go under the radar and either command the meta or just completely ignore it. These, of course, are Orb, a brick wall with priority over pretty much everything, or so it seems, and Battle Boots, which you either love or you hate them, but they definitely have some of the easiest 0 to deaths in the game. Red Raptor has some of the most notoriously cheesy signatures in Brawlhalla that arguably play the game for you in some instances, and this is true for both Orb and Battle Boots. These signatures have basically only received buffs since their release, so now is probably as good a time as any to start playing Red Raptor for yourself. Next at number 8 is Lord Vrax. I don't see a lot of Vraxes, but he has so many extra true combos on both of his weapons, and even more true combos involving his SIGs. Speaking of which, his SIGs are pretty ridiculous despite being so old, and I haven't even mentioned yet that he's getting a buff with the Dex rework. Lord Vrax surprisingly doesn't get very much tournament play and is hilariously underplayed for what he has to offer. At number 7 we have Imugi. Even though Axe and Greatsword undergo a heavy nerf every time I refresh the patch notes, Imugi for some reason seems to always stay relevant and remains a viable pick that everyone will hate you for. This legend can literally do well by just mashing whatever SIG comes out and hoping for the best, and takes no prior knowledge of Greatsword to use. If you are going to try and learn something, I guess it should be Sidelight into Side SIG on Greatsword. Everything else is just a bonus. If for whatever reason you find yourself without a Greatsword in hand, you'll need Sidelight into N-Sig on Axe, and that should cover the rest. All in all, I don't think Imugi will ever be in a bad spot, even with Greatsword and Axe nerfs and even with low dex. At number 6 we have the Brochacho Tezca. Gauntlets in their own right are always seemingly good enough to carry by themselves, and Battle Boots are easy enough to pick up and instantly do well with. His signatures are powerful, loud, and obnoxious, and some of them even have active input, giving him so many options to terrorize his opponents. Not to mention that down sig on Battle Boots combos into practically everything. This legend hits incredibly hard, and it does not feel fair when it happens. All in all, you can't really go wrong with Tezca, whether that's for the better or for worse. At number 5 we have Scarlet, who just permanently lives outside of the radar. Besides Kozilek's, there has been no representation of this legend in tournament, and it's rare that I find a good Scarlet player. But when I do, they definitely make up for all the bad ones. Another extremely tanky character with 2 supposedly heavy weapons, Scarlet can delete your stock in seconds, and overstays her welcome every stock by staying alive way too long. She has way too many options to cheese you, with her Hammer side sig getting a special shoutout, as if Hammer needed another one-button win condition. Maybe overpowered wouldn't be the right word to describe her, but she definitely fits the theme of dodging all of the patches and the meta. Make no mistake, this legend can definitely carry you to Diamond. Fitting with the theme of overpowered tanks, we have Queen Nai at our number 4 spot. What can I say about this legend that hasn't already been said? Easy to pick up, incredibly easy to spam with, hard to kill, and even harder to stay alive versus every player's worst nightmare. Her high strength helps circumvent Katar's weakness of struggling to kill, especially with neutral sig being the powerhouse that it is. Her neutral sig on Spear is equally as annoying, with D-Light N-Sig being a true combo. Well, sort of. Spear down sig also gets a special shoutout for being one of the most annoying in the entire game. Despite her being pretty slow, she still sees quite a bit of high-level representation, and her tournament presence is starting to pick up again, which is never a good sign. Taking bronze on the podium is Teros. This is another legend that needs no introduction. It doesn't matter how many times Axe, Hammer, or even his SIGs get nerfed, there's no stopping this guy. Another character with barely any dex or speed, and yet has more signature true combos than your average 5 or 6 dex legend. Not just because of these combos, but every single signature has a reason to be considered broken, and almost every single move in his kit can kill you. His Axe neutral sig has a legendary status for being notoriously cheesy, and I know there's a lot of diamonds out there that owe it all to this signature. If you ever play in the diamond queue late at night, I can almost guarantee you half your matches are versus Teros, and there's nothing scarier than a good Teros. If you choose to play this character, I honestly can't blame you, and I'm not ashamed to admit I've been there too. Second place goes to every Valhallan's favorite crutch, Ulgrim. I can't lie to you guys, I absolutely despise this one's existence, and I'd rather you guys play any other legend on this list. Another tank. Surprise, surprise, with 2 deceptively fast heavy weapons that hit way too hard for something so fast. If you're starting to see a pattern emerging, you would be right. A lot of the best legends all have the same strengths, and their weaknesses like low dex is not only negligible, but also a positive since there are more stat points dumped elsewhere. At this current point in the meta, Ulgrim is almost guaranteed to be paired with a Gauntlets legend for 2s, and if you've seen any recent tournament, you'll know exactly what I mean. Axe, like I've said, seems to ignore its nerfs and continue to terrorize as always, and Ulgrim makes it even easier to do so. For our honorable mention, we have Mordex. Okay, so I know this legend is probably higher on your list, but I think the fact that he's so overplayed makes him a bit easier to counter. His gauntlets and scythe are amazing offstage and can steal your life if you're not careful, but those things take skill and I wouldn't necessarily consider it cheese. It doesn't matter how many nerfs, reworks, or changes happen in the meta, Mordex will always be a good legend and he's still winning tournaments till this day. All of his signatures complement his weapons well, and this is helped by the extra active input that he has on some of them. Mordex isn't the easiest legend in the world to play, but you can't really go wrong with this one either way, and he'll always be a personal favorite of mine. Now for the most OP legend in Brawlhalla, legend number 68, Rupture. Despite only being out for a short amount of time, Rupture is already just as scary as Teros, and arguably has an even better version of his N-Sig. 9 strength guitars are insanely overpowered, and we've already done more than enough complaining about high-strength lance, so I'm sure you get the idea. This legend is so broken that it's just unfair, and it has been a guilty pleasure of mine to clip farm and experimental with both of his weapons. Honestly, if you had told me he had been nerfed already, I wouldn't believe you. This legend is like Jaeyun on release all over again. The other night, I hit so many clips on Rupture that it took me longer to edit them all than it did to get them in the first place. And all of what you're seeing is after the nerfs. Rupture will truly go down in history as one of the legends of all time. What do you guys think? Is there someone I have missed? If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And if you like what you see, do me a huge favor and comment another idea below. Or better yet, let me know what you'd like to see. I'm very open to new ideas and would love to hear your feedback. But until then, I hope you have a lovely day, and I look forward to hearing your suggestions in the comments.